some people are hard on Jackson. Let's be honest here. They're top three, top four in the National Football League. Talented roster. Right now, it's about working around the margins and ways to improve while also setting yourself up for long-term success. And to that end, the Baltimore Ravens, excuse me, recently made a really smart move that's kind of slid under the radar that could have massive implications for the long term. Let's pull up this report here. It's actually a tweet from a few days ago. No one's paying attention to this, but it really does matter. This is from at Rapsheet, Ian Rappaport's Twitter handle, of course. The Ravens are hiring Georgia Tech defensive coordinator Tyler Santucci as their new linebackers coach, source says. Santucci has been a successful DC at Duke and Georgia Tech and received interest from NFL teams in the past. Now he lands in Baltimore. All right, so Coach Harbaugh is obviously not a stranger for being aggressive and kind of picking from all over the map to fill out positions on his coaching staff. That seems to be another move in that direction, but I think people need to pay attention a little bit more to this because it could have big implications to the future of this Baltimore team. In my eyes, I know you've got the insights as to why, but first, Ravens flock, your turn in the comment section below. What's one position group you think Baltimore really needs to upgrade this offseason? One position group that if they can get just a little bit better, they can get over the hump in the postseason. Put that in the comment section below. But Mize, why does this move by the Ravens really matter?
Yeah, Nick, I think when you look at the Ravens the past couple of years, these coordinators that they've been hiring, we're talking offensive and defensive coordinators, they've been getting a lot of play around the NFL for head coaching gigs, for lateral moves. Greg Roman, Wink Martindale went to other teams. Then you look at more notably Mike McDonald going to get the head coaching job for Seattle this offseason, or got a little bit of notoriety, but mainly Munkin was a guy that was thrown around in a lot of interviews as far as potential head coaching candidate. So you have to prepare for the future when you're a team that's that successful by getting guys that you think could be the next heir apparent. And that is what they've done here with Santucci. I think this is a really, really great pickup by Harbaugh because you look at where he hired Santucci as the linebackers coach. This has been the defensive coordinator in waiting position for the Ravens for quite some time now. You go all the way back to Dean Pease, came the Ravens, inside linebackers coach 2010, 2011, then 2012 becomes the Ravens defensive coordinator. Go forward from that, you got Wink Martindale, became the Ravens linebackers coach from 2012 to 2017. Then he comes 2018, Ravens defensive coordinator. Look at Mike McDonald. This is a guy, 2018 to 2020, Ravens linebacker coach, and then through way of Michigan, comes back, Ravens defensive coordinator. Now finally we see Zach Orr, current Ravens defensive coordinator. What was he before that? The Ravens linebackers coach. So when Harbaugh selects someone for this linebackers coach, it's someone he has a lot of trust, a lot of hope in as far as their talent as a defensive mind. It's a very important position on this Baltimore team. Linebackers kind of always been sacred since the very beginning of this franchise, starting with Ray Lewis, going through the last few years. Orr was one of them. CJ Mosley, great linebacker. Roquan Smith, great linebacker. This has really been a key position, and I think Santucci is now the heir apparent for, if not when, but when Zach Orr has the call to go look for another team, they have their next guy in line here with Santucci at the linebacker position.
And there are smart franchises in the NFL, and the Ravens are obviously one of them, but they understand succession planning. They think long term. And there's a lot of franchises that frankly don't. The Green Bay Packers famously do this at the quarterback position, right? They had Favre, they draft Rodgers, they had Rodgers, they drafted Jordan Love. The Ravens don't get the same kind of credit, which I think is kind of interesting. This is a franchise that, after all, had Joe Flacco and then selected Lamar Jackson. That move obviously turned out very well. They've succession planned from Newsom to Eric DaCosta, right? They had this great job in terms of how they structure their front office. It's one of, I would arguably, the best consistently for the past probably 3 decades, well-run franchise in the NFL. Don't have as many Super Bowls as some other franchises, but I think a lot of that is just you ran into a Patriots and Chiefs dynasty during this entire window. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, but it's hard to overcome that. But the long-term success of the Ravens is something really to behold, and it's moves like this. It's succession planning. It's bringing in young, talented coaches from the college ranks into the NFL. Obviously, this isn't really a young guy, so to speak. He's got a lot of experience. He's not like green around the ears or anything. But this is what the Ravens do. This is what Harbaugh does, and he's phenomenal at it. He brings in coaches, gives them an opportunity. They excel, they get promoted, and then they return the value in spades with a lot of unique schemes and strategies, and that leads to the Ravens' success on the field on Sundays. Mike McDonald's a phenomenal example of that. McDonald was with the Michigan Wolverines, obviously with Harbaugh's brother, goes to the Baltimore Ravens as the DC. He's a younger guy. He's got all these new ideas, creative schemes, and the Ravens have the best defense of football a couple years ago, arguably the most dominant team since the 2007 Patriots during the regular season. A lot of that is Harbaugh's having the foresight to say, let me bring in a guy who's newer, who has new thoughts, new ideas, different thoughts, different ideas. Start him off as an inside linebackers coach. He learns the franchise, he learns the players, he learns the culture, and then he's ready to elevate to become the defensive coordinator. And now we've got a secret weapon on our side of the coaching staff. No other team thinks like this. Most other teams kind of just react, right? They lose a coach, he gets hired. They go, let's bring this guy in, or let's bring that guy in, or they're looking for who's the best scheme fit or something like that. The Ravens have the foresight to go out and say, okay, who do we think will bring great ideas in 5 years? Let's get them on the staff now. Who do we think will be a great leader in 3 years? Let's get them on the staff now. This is what Baltimore has done with the front office. They've done this with players and player development, and they do this with coaching staff and coaching staff additions and development as well. And this latest move is just further proof of that.